I agree, Wisconsin. Well, good day, my friends. It's your old pal Jordan the Lion and the beautiful Katie.
Hello.
And today we're going to do something pretty fun. We are going to the birth home of Laura Ingalls Wilder. I have been lucky enough to go to some of the Ingalls homes in different places and Laura's home where she wrote a lot of the books, but never to Pepin, Wisconsin, which is where her birth home is. So we're going to go tour that today, give Ja a little chance to run around the park and have some fun. Daze with Jordan the Lion and Katie begins now. This is Ja's free time. Our time of the day dedicated to him fulfilling his needs to be independent. Turn his ears off from listening to me. How you doing, happy face? How you doing, happy face? Are you ready to go see Laura Ingalls Wilder's house? Okay, so it doesn't look like it's a secret to them. They know she's from here too. Let's go check out the house.
Oh, I share her birthday.
Yeah. Yeah, February 7th. We haven't even made it to the house yet, but they have a park here on the way. It says this park is named in honor of Laura Ingalls Wilder, author of the Little House books, which were awarded a medal 1954 as lasting contributions to children's literature. Laura Ingalls was born in a log cabin 7 miles northwest of here, February 7th, 1867. In the 1870s, her parents moved the family to Kansas, which I have vlogged there, then to Minnesota, and finally to South Dakota, which I've vlogged there as well. At 15, Laura was teaching school and 3 years later married Almanzo Wilder. They lived for a while in South Dakota before settling on a farm near Mansfield, Missouri, which I have also been to and vlogged. Mrs. Wilder began her writing career when she was 65. First in the series of 8 books was Little House in the Big Woods, describing her experiences here in the Pepin area. The book was an immediate success. The author was surprised at her success and told an interviewer after writing her first book, "I thought that would end it, but what do you think? Children who read it wrote to me begging for more. I was amazed because I didn't know how to write. I went to Little Red Schoolhouse all over the West and I never was graduated from anything." She died in 1957. Well, we were closer, but that sign told us we were 7 miles out this way. This is great. This is a lot like the Sundance Kid when I went to his childhood home. I think it's a recreation that they make available and open at all times, so you can just like drive to it and tour it yourself. So I have a little bit of information we'll read to you. See the log cabins over here. Little House in the Big Woods. She didn't write any of the books out here, but the books were based about her life out here, the early ones. So says, Little House Wayside. Once upon a time, a little girl lived in the big woods of Wisconsin in a little gray house made of logs. Writing about herself and her life here, Laura Ingalls Wilder thus began Little House in the Big Woods, the first of her famous Little House books. Laura was born here on February 7th, 1867. Late in 1868, or in the spring of 1869, the Ingalls family left Wisconsin and traveled by covered wagon to Kansas. They found Kansas to be Indian country, so shortly after Carrie was born, in August of 1870, Charles Ingalls brought his family back to the little house near Pepin. In 1871, Mary and Laura enrolled in the Berry Corner School near here. We'll see if we can find where that was. They sold this farm in 1873 and moved to Minnesota. That's where the TV show takes place. So it says Laura Ingalls Wilder is loved both of her delightful writing style and for her good homespun philosophy. Reflecting on her rugged frontier youth, she said, "It has been many years since I beat eggs with a fork or cleaned a kerosene lamp. Many things have changed since then, but the truths we learned from our parents and the principles they taught us are always true. They can never change." The Laura Ingalls Wilder Memorial Society of Pepin, Wisconsin, organized in 1974 to provide this memorial to the beloved lady and beloved author. Nice. Yeah, I have been out to the homestead in Kansas. I've been out to where Laura wrote the books and lived. See, I think what actually happened was her daughter inspired her, kind of told her, you should write these books. And when the first one was a hit, she continued writing more. So here's the gray house in the woods. I didn't actually realize that they left and came back, did you?
No, it makes sense. They obviously found Kansas not to be exactly where they wanted to raise their family. So
No.
This was always a very safe place for them, I'm assuming.
Yeah, and that's actually a pretty cool experience too. When I went out there, they've recreated based on what they've been able to find as far as plans for the, like what the census was and everything at that time. They were able to put together what they think the homestead and everything was like. There's a chimney. Let's go on in. There is a museum here in town we'll go check out as well. Welcome home. Of course, no light or anything. All you have is what you get through the windows and the door. But it says that was the bedroom that slept 5. Also, look at that. You could have put kids up there. This actually resembles what you would have seen kind of more on the show, really. And then over here was a pantry. So let's go in the pantry. Because, yeah, if you living in Wisconsin, one thing you'd have to consider is the bleak winters and how you're going to have food and prepare for that. And then the family would have slept in here. 5. I know, that just... Hope everybody's a pretty heavy sleeper when Charles and Caroline are planning more family members. Here's the bed. Just line them up. Of course, people would have been smaller back then, but looks like they could have just stacked them and then in the evening brought one of, because it looks like there's 2, as you notice. They could have brought one over here, so they would have actually had 2 beds for 5 people.
And just to give you an idea, everyone at home, you can't see it, but Jordan is literally probably only about 3 inches away from hitting his head on the top of this. So you can imagine how close a quarters this would be for 5 people.
Oh, yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I'm 6'3", so the ceilings here are probably 6'7". Huh, interesting place. I love, of course, you know, somebody had to like carve their initials and stuff, and I hate that stuff, but I love that they trust people enough to just leave it to where you can keep it open and trust that people won't destroy it or anything. Katie noticed over here they have some of the history to the family. You can read the whole story right over there. We noticed in town that there's quite a bit, so I'm assuming at the museum we'll learn some stuff that we'll share. There's Laura in different stages of her life. There she is older. And there she is when she was, what does that say, 17.
That would have been right before she married Alonzo.
Yeah. Autographing party, she used to come back here and sign books. Pretty interesting to be in these kind of places. I wonder how accurate the placement of this is to exactly where the homestead was. That actually would have been a really nice fireplace. It would, I mean, for a Wisconsin winter, for 5 people, it's a pretty good living space. Of course, they would have had to have had a table for dinner, so that would have been in here, and chairs and things like that, so it would have taken up space pretty quickly. Kind of noticing that somebody left a baseball in the corner of the window for some reason. I'll leave it there. I also noticed, and I was kind of thinking about that, I was like, you know, I was saying I wonder how accurate it was to the exact placement. But then I looked over here and saw they also have something that would have been pretty accurate to the times. Right over here past the picnic tables, they have a water pump. Drink, anyone? Pretty primitive. Says you're supposed to lift. Nope, nothing. So this is a cool little stop, just a little pull off. Now we're gonna go check out the museum I told you about and see if there's anything else to Laura in town we haven't seen yet. So when we looked up what the schoolhouse looked like, I think we passed it on our way out this road. So we're gonna pull off and check it out. That certainly looks like that was it. Might even be somebody's house now. It's kind of cool. They're showing all the places she lived and how long she lived there. And if you want to call her or send her an email, here you go. Looks like they're having a little festival we're not going to be here for, but looks like they have Almanzo from Little House on the Prairie is going to be here as part of it. Let's check out this museum. This is showing home textiles, how they would have made their clothes during her time.
Oh, like they would have dirty.
These are all clothes. They're just showing a lot of the clothing that would have been popular in her time. These were not her clothes. These are just examples of the type of clothing that would have been popular. The capes that I just showed you, it says, were belonging to Elizabeth McCain. Miss McCain was married to John McCain, a skilled and noted steamboat pilot who built the first permanent home in Pepin. John and Elizabeth were married, and Elizabeth is also noted as the elder sister of Anna Berry. Anna Berry was Laura Ingalls Wilder's first teacher. Here they have some items of Anna Berry. Shows where the schoolhouse was located in accordance to Charles Ingalls' property. So Charles' property was right up here, and the little Berry Corner School was just 2 or 3 blocks away. The quilt was made by Anna Berry, and the scarf belonged to Anna Berry, her teacher. There's a little school desk, and it says that she actually ended up living to be 95. It says she was known as Pepin's oldest and most beloved pioneer resident, and she's buried next to her parents. And here they have little scenes that depict parts from the books. So when the fiddle had stopped singing, Laura called out softly, "What are days of auld lang syne, Pa?" "They are the days of a long time ago." Laura's Pa said, "Go to sleep now," but Laura lay awake a little while listening to Pa fiddle playing and the lonely sounds of the wind in the big woods. She thought to herself, this is now. She was glad that the cozy house, Pa and Ma, and the firelight and the music were now. They could not be forgotten, she thought, because now is now. It can never be a long time ago. And this was Laura's actual quilt. And that breaks down the whole family tree, basically. Those are her real parents. That's the real Charles Ingalls and the real Carolyn Ingalls. Then here they have a little part where she's talking about growing up and running into bears. There's a little bear there, her and her mom. Now this is supposed to show what the living conditions would have been like when she was growing up here. Honestly, not as bad as I would have expected. are not as... They have quite a bit, actually. That's the toaster hanging up there. Katie wants some toast while we're here. Very interesting. It definitely would have been a different life, different lifestyle, but not quite as primitive as I was expecting. And then Katie noticed over here they're talking about all the preparation they would have to do, accounting for saving food for the winter. This is a book from and signed by Mary Ingalls, who lost her eyesight age of 14. You can see her signature and stuff in them. There's your covered wagon with your Charles Ingalls driving it. Kinda looks like him anyway. In here they have a depiction of a riverboat because in her time living here they would have had riverboats on the beaches and everything. Over here they do say that these are 2 authentic letters written by Laura Ingalls Wilder. You can see up in the corner that she's noting this was written in Mansfield, Missouri, 1950. And then here they have first editions of her books on display as well. A nice little stop here. I mean, actually not so little, like several buildings, like 3 buildings long, so yeah, it's quite a museum. A lot of it though, honestly, not so much her personal belongings, more dedicated to kind of like what the life would have been like and everything like that for the times. Well, my friends, I hope you enjoyed our stop today in the birthplace of Laura Ingalls Wilder. Just another check mark on our Little House on the Prairie homesteads and places that they lived and had history that we've went and visited on this channel. So hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you all next time. Have a great night and goodbye.